Hello everyone, my name is Paul Third and this is my Audio Geekness channel. So if you're watching today, you are most likely an Audient ID14 user like myself who owns a Mark 1 and you're thinking, should I upgrade to the Mark 2 which came out this year? So Mark 1 versus Mark 2. Is this giving us anything that should make us upgrade from the Mark 1? Let's discuss. Let's start off small and build our way up. First off is it has more dynamic range. So across the entire interface, they've basically given you more dynamic range in DAC. They've also given you more dynamic range in the headphone amp. And in terms of that headphone amp, it's now giving you 2 inputs. So you can have a 1/4" jack. You can also have a mini jack as well. It does not mean you could have 2 headphones plugged into it. That's very important. That's one thing you need to know. It's basically just giving you the option to have a mini jack and also a 1/4". Simple as that. Alright, so it's giving you an extra headphone input. Not massive, but the headphone amp itself does have more dynamic range and you can crank it harder. You can give it more gain as well without it distorting, and it is slightly less THD as well. So again, it's a cleaner headphone amp, but very slight minute details. Very slight, but still more dynamic range. Just a little bit more. So let's speak about the DAC. Now, in terms of the converters, they've actually not said what the converters are. Now, for people that don't know, the Audient Mark 1, okay, the ID14 Mark 1 uses Burr-Brown converters. Now, in the ID14 Mark 2, it just says class leading converters. I don't know if there's a big difference from the Burr-Browns to whatever they're using. I don't know which converters they're using. Again, it's small little details, but this is quite handy, is the fact that the phantom power, you do not need to have mains power connected to it. It's actually USB powered, which is really handy because it means that you can kind of record kind of more on the go. So again, for this here, the way I've got it set up just now, I've got the Audient ID14 plugged in through the mains, and it's got like a mains adapter in. So I've got to kind of have everything set up a certain way where, again, if I wanted to record something, I could record it over. I could kind of really record it wherever I want, really, because I don't need to have mains power plugged in. So that's quite handy. However, to save myself £200, I could just stick and still use mains power. Okay, again, it's just a little added benefit. Is it worth £200? Not just now. So I'd probably say the only really other thing that it gives you, right? And you probably go, Paul, really, is that it? Sorry, but that's really all it is. This is the thing that may make you want to switch, and it's the thing that's making me consider maybe possibly upgrading. Is the biggest addition is the fact that it's giving you 2 extra line outs. Now in the original Audient Mark 1, it's got 2 line outs, okay? You've got your left and your right, your stereo. So you could only have your monitors connected into your line outs. So what they've done is they've given you an extra set of line outs. Now I know that that's been a big benefit of the Apollo, is that it's got an extra set of line outs different from your monitors. Now the reason that this is important is because you can do one of 2 things. You can have 2 sets of monitors, so you can have, say, a set of Genelecs or a good set of stereo monitors, and say have a pair of KRKs or a pair of NS10s or a pair of Auratones, like maybe a cheaper, lower quality stereo speaker as a second reference. And the great thing is you've got your software that comes with the Audient ID14, and you can kind of switch between the 2 using the software. Now the second thing that makes this really handy is that it means that in terms of analog gear and putting your audio interface through analog gear, EQs, compressors, reverbs, it means that you do not have to disconnect your monitors and use the line outs for the compressor or the EQ or whatever hardware effect that you're using. Because obviously if you've only got 2 line outs, then you've got to make a choice. It's either speakers or it's either your compressor, EQ, whatever that is. With having the 2 sets of line outs, it means that you could have your monitors, your speakers plugged in, but it also means that you could put in an EQ, compressor, any hardware effect that you want to use, because you've got that extra set of line outs. I think there was a lot of missed opportunities here, and the upgrades that they did make weren't enough to persuade me. But if you are somebody that uses speakers and monitoring, then To me, the line out is going to be massive for you because you can have analog processing, you can have compressors, EQs, reverb effects, any rack mounted unit that you want, you could process that through the Audient ID14 Mark II. The only thing that should really persuade you are the line outs. So do you really need those 2 extra line outs, or should you just buy a new interface and have an Audient ID14 and another interface? It's entirely up to yourself. I won't be upgrading it. I don't think it's worth it. Personally, it's all subjective and it's all down to your needs. And again, this whole thing about it's USB-C instead of USB-B and stuff, fucking whatever. It's small things. It's small things. They're not, to me, they've not changed the world with this. They've kind of just basically added slight little tweaks just to justify it, and then added in 2 extra line outs. That's really all it is. They've got the same issue with the ADAT in. Again, this was an opportunity for them to do ADAT in and ADAT out. They didn't do that. It's a big opportunity for them, and they didn't do it. The upgrades aren't enough for me. Everything's very, very, very slight, and it's all just, it's kind of handy stuff that they've added in. There's nothing to me that's adding great value. The phantom power is just a handy thing. It's just like, yeah, it's not as annoying, but I'm tight. We're all, again, we want to spend our money where it's going to be best utilised. And here's the last thing that I'll kind of end on, okay? We use audio interfaces for primarily recording. Am I going to get a better recording with the Mark II compared to the Mark 1? No. It's the same preamps. Yes, it's got slight better dynamic range in the DAC, but it's not going to have as much as a massive impact as you think it is. That's just the way I feel. I feel that I just still feel that the Audient ID4 Mark 1 is a fantastic piece of kit. The Mark II has been slightly upgraded to make it a little bit more modern. It's USB-C, the phantom power is USB powered. You've got to get an extra like headphone jack, and it's giving you 2 extra line outs. It's just the Mark 1 just modernised a little bit and adding in 2 extra line outs. It's as simple as that. My opinion is keep your money and maybe look for another interface and combine the 2 of them so you have more preamps, or sell it and get a new interface, whatever you want to do. For me, it's not enough. But again, in the comment section down below, let me know what interface you guys are using. Because again, I might sell the Audient and maybe get a new interface. I'm thinking about maybe the RME Babyface because everybody's telling me to have a look at that. So let me know which audio interface you're using down below. Let's have a little chat, speak about it, like this video if this has been handy for you. Think about subscribing. And yes, this has been Paul Third. I was going to say Mix on Wednesdays, but it's not Wednesday. So yes, I do have a Mix on Wednesday playlist. It's all full of plug-in shootouts and all great audio geekness stuff. Alright, so I've been Paul Third. This has been my honest review and opinion of the upgrades to the Audient ID4 Mark 1. Have a great day, stay safe, and hopefully see you again soon.